Well, hi there and welcome along to the 2000 Guineas Festival, of course, the Tattersalls Guineas Festival at the Curragh this weekend. Very much looking forward to it. I'm your host, Thom Malone. I'm joined by trainer Richard Fahey. I'm joined by jockey Chris Hayes. Also got Jason Singh from Tattersalls and Chad Yeomans as well from Betway, of course, our official betting partner at the Curragh. And really looking forward to it. Richard, might start with you because obviously the filly Fev Rover, she's making her way over. How has she been since the last one?
Yeah, look, we're happy with her. She had a tough enough race at Newmarket, but she had her usual 3-4 easy days, and she worked well this week, and we're pleased with her.
I suppose you see, I don't know, someone like Jim Bulger coming out and he's running his colt 3 times in 3 weeks. So you kind of feel like, well, we got to get these horses out and have a go at these races. Only won 1,000 guineas.
Yeah, I suppose when you get so close to winning the classic, it's a sort of tick in everybody's box if you can actually win one. So look, there's no reason not to run her. We're happy with her, so we're going to give it a go.
There's been quite a lot of rain around the area. Will that have much of an impact on her or her chances?
Yeah, look, I've been preaching all year. I'd love to get her on quick ground. She got on quick ground and probably ran the race of her life at Newmarket. But she has won on soft ground and run on heavy ground. I mean, Chris will probably agree with me there. I just feel the better horses will go on any ground, really. So it won't hinder us too much, and maybe it might hinder a few others,
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, might bring you in there. Richard just mentioned winning a classic. Obviously, you've nabbed a couple in the last couple of years with Search for a Song and Autad. I mean, Autad in particular in this weekend a couple of years ago. That was such a special day for you.
Yeah, it meant a lot. Tom, meant a lot because it obviously been for the boss and for the late Sheikh Hamdan, who they were the main people in my career, to be frank about it, and it was nice to be able to pay him back. As Richard said, it ticks a lot of boxes when you can get a classic on the cards.
And obviously, you have rides in both this weekend. I mean, maybe just run us through the pair of those quickly.
Well, actually, I'm only in the course. I'm available for the fillies if there is anyone listening that needs a rider. Richard, if you're stuck there for your one.
Funny enough, your name was mentioned, Chris, there to rider. So, but Paul's coming over. If the plane doesn't get there, be on standby.
Yeah, I'll make sure there's no taxis for him. No, look, I've Monasib in the calls for the boss, and I'd have no concerns about the ground. He's won on nearly unraceable ground down in Cork last year and quickened up really well. He's ran on easy ground in the Beresfords over a mile, and look, his comeback run for us was a good run behind Poetic Flair. So I don't have that much ground to make up on him. I'm hoping the ground and fitness will do that. So I'd give him a good shout of being in the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, it's in Poetic Flair, you're not going to get much better form than that, to be fair, are you?
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, High Definition only mugged him late on last year in the Beresfords, his first go over a mile. So he's ticking a lot of boxes. He's going under the radar. Even for me, he was going a little bit under the radar because we had Mina, who unfortunately just tweaked a little muscle and is missing the 1,000 on Sunday. So all my thought and race planning was going into her. So that got scuppered and thrown out the window the weekend. So all the pressure's on Monasib now to try and pull one out of the hat for us.
Absolutely. Richard, you might just bring you back a little because Paul, obviously, he works in the Curragh. Tell me, you are a graduate of race. So the Curragh is kind of an integral part of your career.
Yeah, I've done a good bit of pony racing and went to race after that. I've done the 10-month course and stayed on as a senior at the academy after that, but I was placed with Mr. Prendergast for my 10 months. I went into him on November of the first part of the semester, and thankfully he didn't tell me to go home or anything like that.
You've been there since.
Me there. Yeah, he kept me there. We obviously only done 5 days a week when I was in race, but I remember he came up to me a couple of weeks before the graduation, and I was kind of toying with the idea of going to England. Didn't know typical panicking. He hadn't said anything to me. There was a lot of apprentices there, and he just came up to me after work riding one morning and said, I'll sign you on, tell your parents, and we'll get it sorted. And that was kind of it. So on the day of graduation, he signed me on, and my late mum and my dad were inside in his kitchen with himself and Mrs. Prendergast, and typical, like 16 years of age, they were all shaking hands, and he just tapped my dad on the shoulder and said, "That's it, he's mine now, and take a good look at him. You won't see him till Christmas."
And that was it.
That was it. I was there, no weekends off. No weekends off. We were going racing every weekend, back every evening, and we used to actually have to go back at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night to put the rugs on him and water him and check him. And he'd actually meet us back at the yard the odd evening at 9:30. He could be off playing golf or whatever, and he'd come back to the yard just to double check on us and keep an eye on things. But look, I wouldn't change a thing of it. I've enjoyed it, and he's still supporting me today, so it was work. All the effort put in was well repaid.
And Richard Fahey, you were a graduate of race as well, were you?
I was, yeah. Would have been very early on now. I'm a little bit older than Chris.
So I'm told it was 1982.
My God. Okay. I'd have said 92, but anyway, I'm sure you're correct.
Hey, listen, where are you from originally, Richard?
From County Louth, Clogherhead to be exact. Fishing village on the east coast there. I was actually born in Nigeria, so I've been around the planet a bit.
I was going to ask, because that's what it says in your Wikipedia page. So I was just double checking to see if that was true, or if you had someone putting dodgy information up there.
No, I'm afraid it was not afraid. It was early in my life. Father was working out there. He was an engineer. So I think we left in '69 when the Civil War started. So I might have still have been out there riding in Nigeria. You never know.
No way. And where did you start? I mean, out of race, where did you go?
I went to Julian Lloyd's. I had a year there, and then I think myself and Jimmy Quinn, you know, little Jimmy that rides still here now. I think Jimmy's 63. He was the same age as me, but I'm not 63. We were the first two apprentices to sort of leave Ireland and come to England, and we sort of set a trend after that. A lot of kids followed us after.
And do you became a jump jockey then as well, was it?
I rode on the flat for a gentleman called Pat Rowan. Funny enough, he trains in the town here in Malton. He was champion trainer, I think, in '69, I believe, with 52 winners, amazingly. And then I had spells jumping, but I packed up quite early now. I packed up when I was 26. So
and just for training from there.
I started buying and selling quite a bit. I was enjoying that, and I'd been attached to a guy that I'd been riding for a few years there, and I had a few horses from him, and we were sort of sending them up to he was private training. We were sending them up to him just before they ran, and they were all winning. And Peter Easterby, who was a good mentor to me, sort of told me maybe I should start training, you know. So I gave it a go, and then if you're training, you can't buy and sell, so one cancelled the other, so I had to concentrate on one. So I concentrated on the training. And
I mean, obviously you're massive now, but what sort of numbers? You just start off with a handful that you kind of bought yourself and go from there, or?
Funny enough, you have to have 15 horses. I don't know if it's changed now, but you had to have 15 horses in training there, and I think I had 5. I think I had 6 brood mares and a couple of retired race horses of Easterby. So to get the numbers,
make up the numbers.
Sure, I'll get in trouble for saying that, but that's what actually happened. So, but we got lucky early, so we were lucky.
I mean, you did have big winners quite early on, hadn't you? Like,
yeah, we were quite lucky. When being a jump jockey, I sort of set off training jumpers, and I went to sales, and I bought 6 stores, and I think after about 3 months, I thought, well, I'll be retired if I carry on training these. So I went to the yearling sales, and I bought a lot of cheap fillies there, and we were lucky, quite a few won. And we went to the horse and training sale, July sale in Newmarket, and bought some second-hand guys that did quite well for us. So we were lucky, really.
And is it, like, I mean, it's such an enormous landmark in the last couple of weeks. You hit, what, 3,000 career winners? Like, I mean, what was that like? I mean, what was the kind of emotion when you reach a landmark like that?
be honest, it's a difficult one to answer, because it's not a thing you ever target for or ever look at and sort of, well, I'm going to start training, I'm going to train 3,000 winners. But I think the reality of it, when I saw the list the next day, it sort of brought it home a bit. God, there's some very good trainers in front of me.
Big trainers on there.
Yeah, there's some high profile guys, and probably more importantly, some high profile guys not on there, you know. So, but I actually went out and had a pint that night, and I thought, well, I've done something, you know. It was grand, but then of course I was up at work at 10 to 4 next morning, and we're back to square one. But it's the first time, I think, in my training career I sat down and thought, well, we've done something, you know.
I mean, that's kind of incredible, because you have some absolutely brilliant horses. I mean, obviously Wooten Bassett, Rib Chested, they've gone to be brilliant sires now. Sansamali, Mason. Like, what was it different just at that moment? Is that just, I guess when you have one winner, you're looking for the next. But I guess that's such a landmark. It just, you know, like you said, it forced you to sit back and have a pint. Yeah,
I think that's very true, because suppose when you're training horses there, you have a winner, and your next horse could run disappointing, so you've got to speak to that owner. So that's the winner's gone, if that makes sense, you know, even no matter how big or small. I think in our industry, we're all very busy. I mean, Chris will be very busy. Everybody that works in our industry, and we don't get the chance to ponder. But as I say, I'm 55 now, and it was the first time I sort of sat down and thought, God, we've done something there, you know, which, you know, with a sort of greedy person inside of me, I was looking up the list and I thought, well, I can catch him and I can catch him, you know. It's a terrible industry, really. It's a horrendous industry, you know.
And I mean, like you said, you never would dream of putting a figure on it, but when you look at the list, is it thinking, oh, well, you know, another couple of years, we tip on, like, I mean, what, you had the record for most winners in a year a couple of years ago. Like, is that where the ambitions lie, to really just keep building? You know, when you have 3,000, like 3,001 is equally as important almost.
Yeah, as I say, we're so busy in our industry, we don't get the chance to ponder, you know. We you know, some days we could have 20, 22, 23 runners. Now we could have 8 winners, but it's a lot of beaten horses, so we've got to speak to them clients. You know, the winners look after themselves. I'm afraid it's the losers that we have to sort out, you know. I
suppose that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, everybody, no matter how big or small, is successful. There will always be more losers than winners, and that's probably the key to any elongated career, is dealing with that, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And I suppose
we've nothing else to do. We're all uneducated people. We left school at 15, didn't we, Chris?
Exactly, yeah.
God, we don't know what to do, you know.
You told a nice story, actually, that just before it came on air, you had a bit of a flashback. You said you were picking stones at home.
We've got 42 paddocks here that we sort of chuck out horses, but we chuck them out quite a lot. And as the years go on, the stones will come through, you know. But we were picking stones off it this week. It just brought me back to my apprentice days when we used to pick the stones off the gallops and do all sorts of things like that. So it gave me an inside chuckle. So we still carry on doing all them jobs.
Chris, you don't have to pick stones, but you say you had an equally pleasant job if you told Kevin Prendergast he had a bad one.
Yeah, I remember having a few winners and thinking the game was easy, and I had it just, and I got off at the top of the gallop one day and just turned around and said, yeah, she's not much. I think she's going to struggle. And he just said, I didn't ask if your opinion. He said, you can lead her home. So I had to lead her from the top of the Vic back to the yard, and he said, be back early this evening. He said, I want you to scrape the bird poo off the doors. So he handed me a dandy brush and a bucket of hot water, and that was my job for the evening. So even to this day, I don't tell him unless he asks me.
Lesson learned, I guess.
No, you said it. Keep the mouth shut. If he wants to know something, he'll ask me.
Jason, I might bring in here, because obviously you'll be familiar with the guys, both obviously on the track, but from the sales ring as well. How's life been at Tattersalls in the last sort of 18 months or so? A very different year for you guys.
Yeah, very, very different, Tom. It's well, I mean, I think it's been a strange 12 months for everybody in the industry, really. I think we're all blessed that we're actually still racing. I mean, that the cogs of the industry are still turning, which is, I think, hugely important for everybody involved. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, for me personally, you know, I'd normally be, you know, at the Curragh this weekend. You know, it's one of the highlights of you know, the year, sort of traveling over.
Whoever signs
for a
off your
couple of
expenses is
nights.
probably happy enough, is he?
Yeah, the expense account's definitely looking a lot better than it normally does. I am looking forward to yeah, getting out and yeah, getting back in. I mean, actually, funnily enough, that my second day at Tattersalls 21 years ago, I actually was I met Richard up at the Musadora. He was you probably don't remember Richard. You were a guest at lunch that day in our box.
Yes, of course I remember.
That was
back. It's only 21 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I never forget it because it was I had to travel up in the car with Jimmy George and my boss, who yeah, that was an early lesson on the second day at Tats is don't travel with Jimmy. So yeah.
I was going to mention that there, but anyway, you said it for us.
What was the how did you learn the lesson not to travel with Jimmy George?
By traveling with him. let's leave it at that.
Okie doke. I mean, it's been such a weird year. I mean, we're so used to the kind of the theater of sales and the magic of the sales room, but you've gone so much online this year. It's been very different, hasn't it? How has that been working itself out for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the key things from, you know, anybody who comes to the sales here is they're a very international kind of event. You know, we get buyers from literally 50 different countries throughout a year who come to the different sales here, you know, depending on what sort of sale it is. You know, the demographic of the buyer changes. And so that's been something that we've had to, you know, sort of face and deal with head on. And you know, one of the ways for that's been live internet bidding, just giving people the confidence that they can hop online and bid on a horse. We're finding that, you know, the Australians, Americans, you know, well, people all over the world, they'll still have somebody here that'll do the work for them, but they will, you know, they might do the bidding themselves via the internet. Funnily enough, we introduced live internet bidding about 12 or 13 years ago, but we found that wasn't terribly popular back then. So I mean, you know, the technology was there, but sometimes you need these sort of strange occurrences to get everybody sort of focused on needing to use it. So so that's been one side, and the other side, which I don't think's really taken off yet, but I think will continue to become more popular, is you know, what we would call we call our platform tattersalsonline.com. I mean, they are effectively timed online sales. I'm not sure if Richard's put a horse in one yet. We've got one coming up next week, starting on Monday at 12 o'clock with 40 horses in the sale. You know, all the horses stay at home. Nobody has to travel a horse anywhere. People put up videos, photos, vet report. Buyers, if they want, can send a vet in to get the horse looked at or get somebody to go and look at it. And then, yeah, the bidding takes place over the space of 24 hours on our website. And, you know, it's a really good, cheap alternative to, you know, the sales here. And I think they'll continue to get more popular. Yeah.
You ever bought a horse online, Chad? You dipped your toe into ownership? You think I'll maybe go online and you maybe you know, you're sitting around and stick an online bid in, perhaps?
I think after this we're gonna have to get a horse with Richard. I think Tom, you and I are gonna start a syndicate, and we're gonna buy it through Jason, and it's gonna go in training with Richard. And I think Chris has got to come over and take the ride.
Yeah,
I was definitely putting my name in there anyway.
If you didn't get the ride after this, Chris, like, geez. And Richard, I mean, like with you, obviously you have a massive amount of horses, and so it's dealing with owners and syndicates and stuff like that. Are you still, you know, constantly on the lookout for new owners, syndicates, racing clubs, that kind of more innovative ways for people to get involved in racing?
Yeah, you've got to be. I mean, I do feel if you take a step back, you'll go backwards. You know, you've got to keep going forward. There's a lot of young trainers now with new ideas, and you know, I don't know if I'm an old trainer yet, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm regarded as an old trainer, but no, you've got to keep kicking, and keep kidding, you know.
And do you find that easy to sort of recruit people in, or like, I mean, how do you kind of go about it? Do you have a racing club, or is there syndicates? Obviously, Fev Rovers to Nick. So
Nick Bradley's, yeah. We've got a lot of syndicates. We have a Richard Fahey Racing Club as well. You know, and a lot of single owners now. I don't know. You just keep going. You know, keep driving.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Richard or Chris, from a jockey's point of view, is it different riding for, you know, a syndicate or something like that, or, you know, these different ownership models we have now? Or I suppose for the last year or so, you haven't come across an owner practically, have you?
No, but what a lot of the trainers and the head traveling lads and lasses have started doing is they'll take a video or a voice clip after, which I think is quite good, because if all those owners can't be there, they can get my initial reaction straight after, and it's not getting diluted secondhand or getting misquoted. Whatever I said, be it right, wrong, or indifferent, it's there in black and white. And look, I think it works, but I'm looking forward to having owners back and being able to get a bit of a kick out of it again. You know, it's just lacking that buzz. I know we're very lucky to be racing, but that buzz is definitely missing.
I was going to ask, because it is, I mean, as I said, like you, we're lucky and we're delighted we're going racing, but I mean, without the crowd, it's very much not the same, isn't it?
No, and like, not because it was me that rode the winner, but Altad's reception coming in for winning the Guineas. Like, I'm under no illusions that roar and cheer wasn't for me. It was for the boss man coming in, and he was doing his Queen's wave as he was walking down to salute the horse on the way in. But that atmosphere that day, you know, they raised the roof, and you would miss that. But look, I'm sure if we win on Saturday, the boss won't mind if there's 2 people cheering or 102.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, I mean, just thrown back of days, and probably the day that the Curragh really made its comeback, you were on board the biggest winner of them all, Search for a Song.
Yeah, again, I think that cheer was for Pat as well. I just seem to be just sliding in at right place, right time. But no, Pat, Lord of Mercy, was there that day, and yeah, that was, in my eyes, it was the official opening of it. You know, the crowd that was there that day, it was lashing rain, and they were running back in. They met obviously us on the way in, but I think the biggest reception then of the day was probably the race after, for the Legends race.
Yeah, like, that was incredible.
They were 10 deep trying to get in, and AP McCoy doing his worst Frankie Dettori impression imaginable and landed on his backside. But look, they were good days, and hopefully we'll get them back shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's something to be noted as well that Pat Mullen's name is going to be on the jockeys room as well. So that'll be just a really nice touch, I guess, for all you guys. You kind of go by and kind of acknowledge that. I guess, you know, it's down the hall of any stadium. You think of kind of iconic parts of it, and maybe going out in Anfield, seeing the sign. So I guess as a jockey, and that's where you guys are, to sort of pass Pat's name and have his name on that, it's got to be kind of special as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and like, you knew all the places where everybody sat in the weigh room, and it still doesn't feel right. You know, you'd see where I'd normally have been lucky enough to being close enough to where Pat was sitting, so I'd be passing it the whole time. But it's going to be a lovely touch that if you win in one or you get beaten one, you can head on down that way. And Pat was always good for advice with me, and I have a little picture of him in the car going racing as well. So it's nice. It's going to be a nice touch from the Curragh to do it for us, and it'll be great that we'll have that to remember him by.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard said he didn't know whether he was an old trainer or not. What about you? Are you in the jockeys? You're kind of in the middle, aren't you? Where do you kind of sit? And is there this kind of seniority ranked? Like you're not too close to sitting up beside Kevin Manning yet, but are you down with the young lads?
Yeah, well, I won't name a couple of the jockeys now, but a couple of them said that they're qualifying for the COVID vaccine, and I'm definitely well off that. So I'm going to count myself as a young lad at the minute.
Yeah, I think in Ireland we're a little behind on the UK. So if it was in the UK, it'd be fine, because I think they're taking the 25-year-olds at the moment. But in Ireland, I think we're in the 45 to 49 range is up next on offer.
I just about scraped through now, Tom. I just about scraped through in the UK.
Okie doke. I mean, just Chris, just on the weekend itself as well, you actually have a really nice ride in the Dane Marble Hill. Castle Star, who did a really nice job in the first of that Dane series that we have actually, and obviously Fozzie Stack. He seems to have a sway the brilliant Star Spangled Banners, if nothing else, down there. But it's been, how is Castle Star first and foremost?
Aye, he's flying. He's in good shape. Look, we always held him in high regard. I was disappointed that we got beaten Cork. He ran around. It was a little bit green and things went wrong for him, and we kind of came back to the Curragh then. We'd no excuses on the day. He just got ran out of it. But I think
probably bumped into a very good horse, to be fair, that day.
Yeah, to be fair, we probably did. But mentally, after that race, he just kind of sharpened up, and I think he was doing things so easy at home that he was quite raw and green at the races. And it wasn't until he had that battle with Aidan's horse at the Curragh for that 150 yards, he just turned into a different horse. He's really sharpened up. He's taken his work well. Ground won't be an issue. Trip shouldn't be an issue. And yeah, I wouldn't swap him now. He's a colt I like a lot. And hopefully, if I'm right, he'd probably head to Ascot after this.
Good stuff. And I suppose elsewhere at the weekend, anything else you're particularly looking forward to?
Yeah, I actually have an okay book of rides on Saturday. I'm not sure what I have on Sunday. I don't know. I haven't spoken to Kevin O'Ryan, but obviously he didn't get me on Richard's. If Paul,
I was going to say, he didn't call Richard, did he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He tried.
So,
he tried.
Yeah, you probably hung up, and you were right. No, look, I've a couple of nice rides on Saturday. I think Too Soon to Panic will run well in the Fillies Group 2. Kevin's horse will run well in the handicap. Saturday in the last. So yeah, look, I'm hopeful of a good Saturday, and I think the one ride I do know of is Kevin's horse in the 1.25 mile handicap on the Sunday, Algazal. I think he'll probably start off a big price, and I definitely be confident he'll outrun whatever odds he is.
Yeah, I mean, Chad, I'll bring you in here because it's quite difficult to consider what sort of odds and stuff, particularly for the Sunday races. But how are we betting for the Guineas on Saturday?
On Saturday, I mean, it's been one-way traffic for Wembley since we opened the market again on Monday. He was 10-1 when we priced him up. He's now 4-1 second favourite. Lucky Vegas, some said was unlucky at Newmarket a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. He's weak. He was 15-8 earlier in the week, now out for 5-2. We've got Poetic Flair, who's taken in 3 guineas in 3 weeks, which must be a record. There can't be many who have done that, 5-1. Labarossa, narrowly beaten by Master of the Stars in the Craven. He was only touched off by the finest of margins in the 2,000 guineas. He's 7-1 for William Buick and Charlie Appleby. We've got Battleground and Van Gogh at 8-1. 10-1 for Max Winey, who, Tom, I know you quite like, to beat his stablemate Poetic Flair, and I'm with you on that one. And it's 12-1 and bigger the rest. But it's been a really competitive betting here. It really has.
Richard, obviously you don't have a runner in the 2,000 guineas. You've no skin in the game. Who do you think might take the big race on Saturday?
Look, talking about being unlucky, I thought Jim Bulger's horse was a bit unlucky in France and probably didn't have as tough a race as he maybe could have had. But look, there's not a stone throw between them all. But just going back to the Kevin Manning when he rode the winner at the thing, I did say to my assistant, you do realise he's only a year younger than me, yeah. Kevin. I mean, it's just incredible. You know, he gave that a ride of his lifetime. You know, so fair dues to him.
And that's another thing. I mean, like he's not there getting steering jobs all the time. He has to. Jim Bulger's horse, they tend to take it up early, and he has to ride finishes. You know what I mean? It's not like he's just there standing in the irons all the time.
I mean, he's not far off being a Superman now. You know, because he, as you say, he gives them a good drive now, and as brave as a lion. Chris will know better than me probably, but he did have a stint at Jimmy Fitzgerald's when I was at Jimmy Fitzgerald. So he came over as first jockey to Jimmy Fitzgerald. He only lasted 2 days, I'm afraid. He didn't like the manner in which Jimmy Fitzgerald was treating him, which I didn't blame him at the time.
Was it tough going?
He was a tough man, Jimmy Fitzgerald, and if you couldn't take a bit of a talent, it wouldn't suit everyone, you know.
And again, yeah. Well, then again, I mean, he went to Jim Bulger, so I mean, he's rather straight talking as well.
Yeah, I think Jimmy might have been a bit tougher than Bulger now, you know.
Oh, okay.
We'll see.
Chris, what's Kevin like around the weigh room? Obviously, he's a senior figure, but like as Richard says, just still incredible hunger for success.
Oh, look, in the weigh room, he's an out-and-out gentleman. Great for advice. You could always turn to him, but as soon as them stalls open now, you'd want to be a brave man if you were half contemplating going down his inside anyway. Like for his age, he's as strong as an ox, he's as fit as a flea, and yeah, you'd want to make sure you've plenty of horse underneath you now if you're going down his inside.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be long about telling you, or would he just close the door before you even think about it?
You know what? I'd say if you have second guessed it, you have the door shut in your face. So look, I've never tried it, and I don't intend to. I like to keep it nice and smooth. So look, he's obviously a legend in the weigh room, and as Richard said, the right he gave that horse in Newmarket, I don't think we'll be seeing the back of him for a while yet, and gladly so. Look, he's great crack, and you can have a great laugh with him. So if I don't win on Saturday, I hope he wins.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Any sort of well-bought ones amongst the field, Jason? You tend to have a good eye on what's done well across the various Tattersalls books over the years.
Well, the leading horse we've got in the race is La Barossa, but I can't claim that he was a bargain buy, because he was 750,000 guineas at book one of the October yearling sale. But I guess we'll see on the weekend if he can manage to place or win. Then I'd say yes, he was very well bought.
Didn't Phoenix of Spain come out of book one as well? So wouldn't be a first. Oh
no, sorry. Yeah, I'm just that's just today. Yeah, don't test me on
it's okay. It's okay.
Recent winners. But yes, Phoenix of Spain did come out of book one.
Yeah. Richard, you're obviously a regular Tattersalls client as well, so you'll know Jason well.
Yeah, good guy. Honest. I met him 21 years ago on the box.
Yeah.
Usidora.
Oh God, yeah. He said don't travel with Jimmy George.
No.
Richard, you only sending one over for the weekend, though, is it?
Yeah. Look, I wanted to send one for the Greenlands, I'm afraid, but because the whole protocol's changed there, I had to have a Coggins test because of the corona thing. So I sort of made up my mind that I wanted to send them about 10 o'clock, and we had to have blood in a certain lab at 1 o'clock. So we've got to get a little bit more prepared. It's not just as straightforward as it used to be.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit frustrating because I did want to run him in the Greenland.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously a race you've won in the past as well. So
have I?
do you know when Mr. Lupton?
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. Did you ride him, Chris?
No.
No, did you not? Sorry.
Kevin didn't ring you that weekend either. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you should have ridden him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder. Does Kevin O'Ryan have your number at all, Richard, or do you just block him?
No, he does. He does. Sometimes I ring Kevin O'Ryan and I ring Kevin. So Kevin Ryan and I ring Kevin O'Ryan. So I talk to him quite a lot when I get the numbers wrong.
Oh well, I'd say Kevin O'Ryan's eyes light up. He thinks he's going to get a booking out of it.
Anyway.
Yeah, there's a very good video that went around of was it Sean Davis? Did Sean Davis work for you?
Yes, he does. Yeah. I watched it. It was great. Yeah, it was quite funny. And very true.
I think he raised quite a lot of money for charity in doing it as well, didn't he? When we did the second one. It's quite a good impression. It's certainly worth checking out. And lots of other things to check out over the course of the weekend as well, including a digital race card. So if you are logging into the Curragh for a digital race card experience over the course of the weekend, make sure you do that. But we've had some good times to Richard. I suppose the other thing I better ask you is, do you have a winner for a winner for us? And apart from Fev Rover, obviously, because Fev Rover is the best chance, and we just know she's brilliant. But maybe for people who be looking in, because they always want to know tip for the weekend. So maybe something away from the Curragh, because obviously you only sent one. But anything else you're looking forward to over the course of the weekend that people might get a sneak steer on early?
Just going to have a quick look and see what we run now. It's we're a little bit like you. We're getting an awful lot of rain at the moment, I'm afraid. So we don't really know what the ground will be. But if I was looking for a nap, something that'll win, they don't mind what price, do they?
Not at all. Not at all.
Well, 720 at Catterick. Horse called Blind Beggar should win. So
brilliant. Our Guineas preview, and we got a tip for 720 at Catterick. I absolutely love that. Thanks, Richard. What about you, Chris? What obviously, aside from the Guineas, is the horse you're most looking forward to all weekend?
Look, it'd have to be Castle Star. After the performance the last day, I think it'd be hard to beat. So he's probably my most realistic chance of a winner.
Absolutely. And Chad, I'm going to come to you as well. You're going to have to give us a winner for the weekend.
I can give you a couple. I mean, Chris, I'm surprised you didn't mention Thunder Eclipse in the opening race on Saturday. Third over course and distance on debut. I thought he shaped quite nicely, and I think he'll be a short price favourite, but I think he will give people a winner, all the viewers a winner. I also think Geometrical in the Betway handicap on Saturday could be a handicap sniff. I mean, he's running 4 Group 1, sorry, as a 2-year-old, 2 Group 1s as well. So Jim Bolger doesn't run them in group races for the fresh air, and he's now down to a mark of 93, having disappointed slightly. But if he's back to what he could have been, he could be a real handicap blot off a mark of 93. And I feel like the market will find him out. I'm pretty sure that we'll take a hammering and a beating if he does win. But I think in the Betway handicap on Saturday, Geometrical is one that the market will speak volumes of if he's going to win.
Good stuff. What about that, Chris? That one in the opener on Saturday, you looking forward to that?
Yeah, look, the form of it's worked out well, but look, it'll be hard for me to sit here and tip all my rights. I'm
going to go through the card, obviously.
Put myself under severe pressure. But no, look, we liked it the first day. Fozzies are all taking a run. Obviously, the way things are, racecourse gallops aren't as common as they were. So we've had to bring him there without getting a day away. So some of them are taking a run, some of them aren't. So he took a run the first day. He was very green and raw as compared to Hermana Estrella on Sunday. She was quite good. So look, he has improved and he's a nice draw. It looks a competitive race, but he's a colt we love.
Good stuff. And Jason, who's the Tattersalls? Obviously, you've got that huge, not quite top lot, but obviously nice Tattersalls graduates to look forward to over the weekend as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got loads of runners in the Tattersalls Gold Cup. Most of them trained by Aidan. 2 of them brothers to each other, Japan and Mogul, both million guinea plus yearlings out of the remarkable Shasti. I'm not sure who Aidan's going to run at the moment. I presume he's not going to. He's got sort of Broome, Japan, Mogul. I'm not sure if he's going to run all of them or pick one, but you'd have to be. He's also got Love in there as well, hasn't he? So
yeah, so we're probably expecting that race to cut up a little bit maybe between now and 10 o'clock in the morning, unfortunately. But surely Broome will run anyway.
You would have thought so, and he was definitely one we'll be cheering because he was 150 grand at the December yearling sale. And if Richard's filly can't win the Irish 1,000 guineas, then we'd probably be hoping for a Tats grad, and that would be pretty gorgeous. Again, not the cheapest filly in the world, but I'd quite like to own her. She cost 525,000 at book 1 of the October yearling sale. And at the time, I thought that was a large enough price to pay, but she looks cheap now.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, listen, thanks everyone for your time this evening. That's been absolutely brilliant. Kept us entertained as well, and of course, winners from Catterick as well. Most importantly, Richard, thanks. Thanks, and hopefully we'll get to see everyone come over to the Curragh very, very soon too, because it's just so great. It'd be so great to get people back on course and get the crowds back. Anyway, obviously in the meantime, you can watch on Racing TV. You can watch on RT Racing if you're in Ireland, and there's also a wonderfully immersive digital card as well, so you can check that out. I think it's got Fran Berry doing a course walk there and plenty of other things. So there's digital video inside the race card. Apparently it's the most immersive digital race card ever produced by Weatherby. So thanks a million to Weatherby's, obviously sponsor of the Greenland Stakes as well. Obviously thanks to Jason from Tattersalls, to Betway, our official sponsors, obviously to Chris and to Richard as well. And thanks everyone for joining us on our Curragh 1000 Guineas preview as well, in association with Tattersalls. So thanks a million everybody. Take it easy and good luck.
Thanks.